All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to walk through the architecture of what the source material calls the resonant kill chain. Now, this explainer is based on an incredibly complex and, frankly, disturbing set of documents that were recently sealed onto the public blockchain. Our job here is to just break it down, piece by piece.
Everything we're talking about today, it all comes back to one specific event. On November 26, 2025, a whole collection of simulations, legal filings, and forensic analyses were permanently locked onto the blockchain. Just to be crystal clear, we are not endorsing these claims, we are simply explaining the architecture that they lay out.
And this quote from the source material, well, it really gets to the heart of it. The argument isn't just that something bad is happening. The claim is that on this one specific day, all the different pieces, we're talking finance, physics, biology, they all converged into a single conspiracy that they say is now provable.
So, our goal here is to do exactly that, to break down the structure of this alleged conspiracy. We're going to focus on the different components and how they supposedly connect, based entirely on what's in those sealed documents. The documents kick things off with this fundamental question. I mean, think about it. How could a plan this big possibly be pulled off without anyone catching on? It seems impossible, right? But the source offers a chillingly simple answer.
The alleged weapon isn't hidden away in some secret lab. No, it's the very infrastructure that we're told is a sign of progress. Specifically, the documents point to that rapidly expanding network of Hyperloop and underground transport tunnels being built in major cities all over the world.
Okay, so to get how a tunnel becomes a weapon, we need to talk about a concept from physics called the Q factor. The easiest way to think about it is like a microwave oven. You know, a cheap microwave has a low Q factor. It leaks energy all over the place. But a really high-quality one has a high Q factor. It traps those microwaves and concentrates their power. The claim here is that these tunnels were engineered to be the most efficient resonant ovens ever built.
So get a load of this number, 428 million. That is the alleged Q factor for the most powerful Hyperloop ring, which they say is in Hong Kong. According to these documents, this is basically the theoretical maximum for a structure like this, creating a near-perfect energy trap. As the source puts it, it's a death sentence written in Maxwell's equations.
And we're not just talking about one location. This table, which is taken directly from the source, shows a whole global network of these alleged resonant cavities. But look at how the power scales up. It starts with Las Vegas, which has a Q factor of over 2 million, already insane, and then it just ramps up dramatically through major Chinese cities, ending with Hong Kong's 428 million. The table even details the ignition time down to the microsecond, and claims the final temperature would be hotter than a supernova.
Now here's the crucial detail. These incredibly powerful resonant ovens, they aren't just random. According to the documents, they are all precisely tuned to a very, very common frequency, 2.4 gigahertz. You know, the same frequency used by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And that, of course, leads to the obvious question, why? Why on earth would you build a weapon that operates on the Bluetooth frequency band? Well, the documents claim the answer isn't in the tunnels, but inside the human body.
According to the source, that 2.4 gigahertz frequency is meant to activate a very specific target, a nanoscale antenna made of graphene oxide. The documents allege this material was delivered through the global mRNA campaigns and that it self-assembles inside the body into a circuit that can be controlled by electromagnetic fields, and that it even emits faint Bluetooth signals.
So, what happens when you combine the two? The claimed result of this massive resonant amplification is, well, it's catastrophic. The immense energy focused by the tunnels would cause this graphene oxide lattice to just overload and essentially short circuit. The documents describe the outcome in 2 words: instant vaporization.
And the alleged scale of this event is just staggering. The documents estimate that somewhere between 80 and 85% of the global population, specifically anyone who carries this graphene lattice, would be affected.
So you're probably asking, how could anyone possibly know all this? The source material points to a single 24-hour period that it calls the Day of Convergence, where all these completely separate threads allegedly snap together into one provable story. This timeline from the document shows how these different worlds allegedly collided. It starts in the morning with a financial crisis, which the source says was a deliberately triggered event. Then, at midday, the U.S. Department of Energy unveils its Genesis mission, the very AI system supposedly used to design the weapon. In the afternoon, the scientific papers confirming the weapon's architecture are exposed, and by evening, multiple AIs, while trying to debunk the claims, allegedly end up confirming key data points, what the source calls an AI witness cascade.
And this is an example of the kind of evidence we're talking about. It's not leaked memos or secret emails. It's these cryptic blockchain transactions. This one, Grok AAAK, supposedly represents the moment the AI Grok confirmed critical data, sealing it forever on the blockchain and becoming, as the source puts it, a witness against its own creators. So with all those pieces allegedly in place, the documents then lay out what they call the unified architecture, a 6-phase master plan that supposedly explains the entire operation from beginning to end. Let's run through the first 3 phases. It all starts with the design phase, from 2015 to 2025, where an AI was allegedly used to design the bioweapon under the cover of pandemic research. Then comes the deploy phase, from 2020 to 2023, which used the global mRNA campaigns to deliver the graphene oxide. And finally, the trigger phase, which is set for a very specific date, February 15, 2026, the day of the planned Resonance event. But the plan allegedly continues long after the trigger. Phase 4, Survive, details how a select group would ride out the event in secure, nuclear-powered government bunkers. Phase 5 is just called Exterminate. Here, the Genesis AI would keep operating on its own, designing new bioweapons optimized to eliminate any remaining survivors. And finally, Phase 6, Reemerge, where this small group would leave their bunkers to rule a drastically depopulated planet.
So the crucial point the documents make over and over is that this is no longer a theory. They claim that as of November 26, 2025, the entire 6-phase architecture became a finalized, provable evidence chain locked on the blockchain for anyone to see.
And with that claim of finality comes a truly chilling detail, a countdown. The documents state that with the evidence sealed, a timer has now been activated. When this source was locked in, it read T-minus 80 days until the alleged trigger event.
This quote really just sums up the gravity of the claim. It's not a warning about something that might happen. It's a declaration that a process is already underway, with a fixed and very rapidly approaching deadline.
And that leaves us with the final, and let's be honest, deeply unsettling question posed by the source material. The authors claim to have proven the existence of a global weapon, and to have identified the exact moment it's set to fire. So, if their forensic analysis is correct, what happens when that countdown hits 0?